Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Inshallah, you guys can hear me with this microphone. Hopefully, it's working. Somebody please let me know that this mic is good, that the sound is good, inshallah. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, everyone is doing well. Inshallah. We'll see if anyone has any questions. It's good? Okay, thanks a lot. Atif. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khairan. All right, let's get started with the first question, inshallah. It's from Zurich, Switzerland. Initials being, Assalamu alaikum mufti, will my Umrah Hajj be accepted if I do it from student loan savings, which I have to pay back with interest because it is my only income? Okay, so you're going to make Hajj and Umrah with the money that you got from student loans, even though the student loans were made for your education, and you now have to pay them back with interest, and that's your only means of income, correct? Tight. All right. So first and foremost is the student loan isn't necessarily the haram thing. That's not necessarily the haram part of getting a loan. The problem is you paying back the loan with the fawaid. The interest, in which the scholars say is Ainu riba al-jahiliya. That's the riba of the pre-Islamic state of ignorance, nafsuha itself. That you borrowed money, you have to pay back more than what you've borrowed in interest, whatever name or title is given, and regardless of the percentage, the difference between usury and interest, etc. So therefore, the bad part about the student loan isn't necessarily the fact that they lend you money, even though the money comes from a bank and the bank is interest-based, but most banks, if not all banks, are interest-based. The problem is you paying back. So therefore, some scholars, they say that it's haram to have any dealings with riba, a card that has any type of clause or fine or penalty in which you have to pay back more than what you spent, even if you have the ability and the confidence to pay back on time without any late fees, late charges, or interest charges. And they say that you're agreeing to ta'awan ala al-ithmi wal-udwan. You're agreeing to help each other upon sin and transgression, even if you pay it before the interest comes. So that's the fatwa of some of the ulama of Islam of this current era. They say even if you're going to pay it back on time without the interest, it's still haram. So based off of that fatwa, it's haram to take that type of loan, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the wealth is khabith. It doesn't necessarily mean that the money is filthy and unlawful. Doesn't mean that. The haram thing is you pay the interest, and the haram thing is, according to that fatwa, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen and others, you're agreeing to pay back the interest when you're late. Okay? But the wealth itself, the money itself that they lent you and loaned you, isn't necessarily khabith. So if it's not khabith, regardless of the sin you may have incurred by agreeing, and regardless of the sin that you may incur by paying back with the interest, regardless of that, the sheer fact that the wealth itself isn't necessarily khabith. So if it's not khabith, then bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, hopefully the hajj is clean, hopefully it's valid, and hopefully it is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now you getting out of those debts, paying back the interest, do you have to pay back the interest? That's a different discussion. Mas'ala ukhra. But the fact of you made hajj with wealth that wasn't necessarily khabith, it wasn't necessarily haram, it wasn't necessarily filthy money, illegitimate money, so hopefully it's valid. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Hopefully the answer is clear. And may Allah make it easy for you, and may Allah make it easy for all of the Muslims who have to deal with loans and student loans. It's a worldwide pandemic. That's a real pandemic. And that's an epidemic. That's a huge problem. Parents force you to go to school. You can't get married. You have to get a degree. You have all of this money that you have to pay back. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The times which the Muslims live in the situation in which we're in, and with the law is all success. Next question says, wa alaikum assalam to everyone. IH from Staten Island, New York. Assalamu alaikum. How do we bury a non-Muslim parent who doesn't ascribe to any religion but believes there is a God? Barakallahu fikum. Allah knows best the status of that person's soul. Did they know about Islam? Did they have an excuse? Are they an agnostic or not? But what's important is that it isn't known that they're a Muslim. And we're not living in a Muslim land. And the asl of a person is not necessarily Islam or Muslim. It's not a Muslim dominant or dominated land, an Islamically dominated land. It's a land of kuffar. So in most cases, the asl is that it's kufr until proven otherwise. And we're not talking about a baby. We're talking about a grown human being. So me personally, I would not bury the person as a Muslim. I would not wash them as a Muslim. I would not shah them as a Muslim. I would not pray over them. Would I say that they're kafir, they're going to the hellfire? Allahu Alam, my Lord knows best. But I would not bury that person. I would not do any type of Islamic burial procedure until proven otherwise. Wallahu Alam. Next question states, Haikal Akhi Nuruddin, Barakallah Feek. Nice hat. Thank you very much, Akhi Muhammad. It was a gift. Jazakallah khairan. F. Ali from London, UK. How to stay patient when you're sexually frustrated. Get married, inshallah ta'ala, if you can. We've spoken about this many times, that many brothers, they often prevent themselves from getting married themselves. They may blame it on the parents or their parents or the in-laws, or this one is racist, or I can't afford it, or it's too expensive, or they're no good sisters. But that's not always the case. Sometimes brothers are too picky. Sometimes brothers don't want to work. Sometimes brothers don't want to marry a sister that's older than them, or a sister that has children, or any other thing that you see as a cultural flaw. So there are women out there, all right? But you just have to adjust. You can't always get what you want all of the time, 100%. No situation is perfect. You marry a young sister, your age, she's a virgin, she's never been married, she's religious, she comes from this family, she has this type of skin complexion, she has this type of body build, kada. It doesn't mean she's going to be a perfect wife. It doesn't mean you want to like her. It doesn't mean she's going to like you. It doesn't mean she's going to live. She could die from disease, from sickness, from childbirth, and get divorced. No situation is perfect. So oftentimes, we as brothers are very picky, too picky. And then we complain about, oh, I can't get married. Oh, the father doesn't want to marry her off. Or the brothers in the masjid, they're racist. They don't want to marry me. Well, maybe you need to marry a different race. Maybe you can't find a young sister that wants to marry you because you have a tattoo, or you're in jail, or you don't know the whole Quran. Marry another sister that doesn't have that condition. And if that's not the case, be patient. Fast, as the Prophet ﷺ gave us advice, and make dua. I know for sure that Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who answers the call of his servants. He responds to the dua of his servants. But you have to be patient. Allah says, and those who don't have the nikah, let them be yasta'fif. Let them practice chastity. Be chaste and hold fast and don't give in to your desires. Wallahu alam. AI from Springfield, VA. How can I become a better student? Keep watching the videos that we put out and the explanation of Kitab al-Ilm of Imam Zuhair ibn Harb Abu Khaythama, rahimahullah. MR from Wiltshire, UK. Lots of people, when they meet a prince or someone they respect, they bend down and kiss their hand. Is it allowed from the sunnah and doesn't count as bowing? I would not bend to a king or a leader or a sheikh or a scholar. I wouldn't do that. And I don't think that that's allowed. Okay? The bending that the people do. There's not like a head nod. People actually, their back is being bent and arched. All right? Allahumma musta'an. As far as kissing the hand, then some of the ulama have allowed this. And they have said that if it's ala wajh al-ikram, if it's a means of respect and showing someone that they're noble and they're honored and venerated, la bas. As long as it isn't ala wajh al-fitna, in which is some infatuation and obsession. You're kissing this man's hand like he's some blessed type of sheikh that's going to take away your sins or protect you, etc., etc., etc. Wallahu alam. The concept of bowing and standing and walking backwards, not turning your back to the leader. There are many mukhalafat, many things that are infringements upon the sharia with regards to kings and leaders, all right, especially in the modern day. May Allah help us all. Ahmed Farah from Columbus, Ohio. How should one benefit from his or her during this quarantine? Jazakallahu khairan. Is to first and foremost to reflect on COVID-19. Listen to the khutbah that we just did last week. لا تحسبه شر لكم بل هو خير لكم. It's a good thing, inshallah. Blessing in disguise. Things being closed down, shut down. It may be a blessing in disguise. So first and foremost is reflect critically, think critically. Think about how Allah Azza wa Jal created the heavens and earth, and He made these things and He decreed these things. Think about وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. Those are the days that we give men in turns, in succession. A plague here, a pandemic there, an epidemic there, civil war there. These people lost their homes, they lost their family, they're stuck in a concentration camp. These people are in prison. These Muslims, these are political prisoners. Think about that. Reflect. Just give your brain some food. And then inshallah ta'ala, catch up on what you're lacking in the fard, the furud, the obligatory acts. Catch up on the forgotten sunnah acts. Spend more time with your family. All right? Look after your health more. Be more conscious, inshallah ta'ala. And if you're a student of knowledge, then it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine. You may not have that much money, or you may have a struggle with this, but now you can read the Bukhari all day instead of just 30 minutes. You can listen to the Quran surah after surah after surah. You can read the tafsir of Ibn Kathir, all right? Wallahu alam. Tayyib. Kaab Ward, that's my uncle. Assalamu alaikum, Kaab. How you doing, buddy? I miss you guys. How's your brother? How's your sister? Everybody well, inshallah? May Allah bless you, akhi. MashaAllah. Kaab, that's my nephew. May Allah bless you. Bless all my nieces and all my nephews. Ameen. K. Dot, MashaAllah, the hat look good. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment. AB from Brooklyn, New York. And last but not least, guys, don't forget, stay supplied with your tea, huh? COVID-19 should not, alhamdulillah, COVID-19 should not prevent you from enjoying tea. And perhaps, we need to drink more tea in light of COVID-19. Wallahu alam. Bismillah. Alhamdulillah. AB, Brooklyn, New York. Can we have a COVID-19 Q&A dealing with how the Salaf dealt with issues during plague and pandemic? Inshallah, it's an excellent idea. Jazakallah khairan. We'll look into that earnestly. But I will tell you this. People that are going around and talking about COVID-19, people that are for or against the shutdown. The masjids have to be closed down. The masjids cannot be closed down. The companions had plague. They didn't do it. Kada, etc. Guys, we got to realize something. And we said this before, and we'll say it again. The Salaf lived very differently than how we live today. Did the Salaf live as a minority in non-Muslim countries? Who were the leaders of the Salaf? Hajjaj, an evildoer who killed some people, but he was a Muslim, or someone who is a non-Muslim is the leader. Was Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi, was he a secular leader? He's a zalim, no doubt about that. And his reward, his recompense, his standing, what Allah will or won't do, is known by Allah. Because Hajjaj did many good things too. He contributed to the development of many sciences of the Quran and Kitabatul Mus'haf and things like this. So Allahu Alam, what's going to happen to Hajjaj in the hereafter? We don't know. All right? But he made oppression. He killed Sa'id ibn Jubayr and many other the righteous ulama, the righteous tabi'een from the Salaf. However, Hajjaj wasn't a secular leader. He was a Muslim. He said, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. There was Hajj, there was Jihad, there was Sharia. Okay? So did the Salaf live how we live under the rule, under the protection, under the welfare of kuffar? Or other leaders who say that they're Muslim, but they have secular governments in which they're not claiming to be Sharia leaders. And this is very important. And it's not about takfir and calling the Muslim a kafir. And it's not about khawarij or khuruj. It's not about that. But it's about iyaka wal mughalata. Iyaka wal mughalata. Don't mix stuff up. Don't mess stuff up. And don't be scientifically inaccurate. Okay? This ruler himself says that I am a secular ruler. Whether it's called king or prime minister, he's not claiming to be a sultan. He's not claiming to be a khalifa. He's not claiming to be wali al-amr. And you go and you say, wali al-amr. He's the imam of the Muslims. He is the hakim of the Muslims. And he himself is saying, I'm a leader of a country in the Middle East. And these are our laws and our customs. And we happen to be Muslim, so on and so forth. The Quran and Sunnah is on the side. If that. So you have to be careful, guys. The whole system of government is different. Did the Salaf live how we live? Their leaders were Muslims. Was there a CDC? Was there a WHO? Was there a president and a prime minister and a queen that dictated and said, this is closed down and you have to do this? So you have to be careful. So many things cannot even be compared. And you can't even make a parallel to the Ahd Salaf and the time in which we live. Some things we can, but many things we cannot. So we have to be mindful, guys. And there are other issues as well, such as how life is, modern and progressive. Technology and hospitals. Was there a hospital in the time of the Salaf? All right? Medicine and many different things that are very different. And this is why we have nawazil fiqhiyya, new modern day fiqh issues, in which the scholars and researchers make ijtihad to the best of their ability. Wallahu alam. NR from Toronto, Canada. Assalamu alaikum Mufti. How should one advise their non-Muslim practicing siblings who don't want to hear it? Don't advise them. Khalas. You've done your job. You've made the balagh. You've given the nasiha. And if they don't want to listen, khalas. Your job is done. You turn away from them. If they want to hear from time to time, different story. If you have control and authority over them, different story. As far as if they don't want to hear, they don't care, then there's nothing that you can do. Don't force and fight someone to hear the truth. Wallahu alam. Nuruddin al-Khalawi from Birmingham, UK. Assalamu alaikum. Does losing the waters for birth break wudu? And is the liquid pure or impure? And does the woman have to make up salah which passed in labor? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. The overwhelming majority of the scholars of Islam say, ما خرج من السبيلين ناقض للوضوء خبث أم طهورا. They say anything that comes out of the sabilain, the two private areas, a man's private part, a man's penis, a man's anus, a woman's vagina, and a man's anus, anything that comes out of the sabilain, the two paths, it breaks wudu. Whether it's najis or not. Whether it's najis or not. Urine, menstrual blood, this type of blood, blood of a wound, blood of a irq, kada, anything that comes out of the sabilain, they say it breaks the wudu. That's the view of most of the scholars of Islam. And some even say that there's ijma', if my memory serves me correctly. Some may say that there's ijma', ittifaq fi hadhihi al-mas'ala. Okay? So based off of that view of the majority, then the water breaking breaks the wudu without a question. Alright? Is it impure? That's a different story, but the wudu was going to be broken. And some scholars say that there is no direct dalil, no clear dalil from the kitab and sunnah that everything that comes out of the sabilain breaks wudu. And some of them say that there's no clear dalil that everything that comes out of the sabilain is najis. Some hold that view. Me personally, from my humble research, I'm of that opinion. I take that view, even if it's the view of a very small minority, that which comes out of the sabilain, لا يلزم منه نقض الوضوء. لا يلزم منه نقض الوضوء. ولا يلزم منه الخبث والنجاسة. It doesn't necessarily have to be impure. But the safest view is to stick with the view of the majority of the scholars of Islam. As far as making up the prayers that were missed in labor, without a question. Her mind is there. She's not in a state of junoon, of madness or lunacy. She has to make up those prayers when she has the ability to make those prayers up. Except for, or with the exceptions of the nifas. The nifas, all right? The bleeding that comes afterwards is a different story. Like hayd, like menses. But before that, and she doesn't pray, she's in labor for an hour before she bleeds, etc. 2 hours, 2 days, a day. She has to make up those prayers. Rather, we say, a woman in labor has to pray. Because a woman can be in labor for 10 hours straight, 12 hours, 24 hours. She has to pray ala hasabi qudratiha wa istita'atiha. She has to pray to the best of her ability. The wudu, covering of the awrah, facing the qibla, fattaqullaha mastata'tum. The best way she knows how, she has to fear Allah. And that's because the prayer is obligatory upon the believers in a set state. According to the best of her ability, if she has to combine dhuhr and asr, etc., etc., etc. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Moving forward. طيب. Moving forward. We'll try our best to summarize some of the answers. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's a lot of questions, and we try our best to serve you the best way that we know how. Tayyib, my parents can be harsh and insulting when advising them, and I think they group my advice with theirs. Allahu alam. NR, where you calling from, please, NR, your city and state, inshallah. AB from Tangier, Morocco. I heard a major scholar say that a girl can get married at 9. What is the correct mawqif? Some scholars of Islam say that the Prophet ﷺ's marriage to Aisha was specific to him and not for every man. And other scholars, they say, rather, it's general, and a man can marry a woman who is younger, even if she isn't that old, as long as it's marriage, it's noble marriage, respected marriage, honorable marriage. She's not being abused or molested or taken advantage of. Her father, her guardian, her wali, And as far as consummation of the marriage, then it's based off of her ability, whether she's 15, 9, 18, or whatever. And the Prophet ﷺ commands us to be gentle in everything, and anything that we do to be gentle. Okay, so that's a discussion. And even though it's not the question, but FYI, the Prophet ﷺ's marriage to Aisha, under any circumstance, does it fall under the people's definition of pedophilia or abuse or molestation? The Prophet ﷺ married Aisha with the consent of her father, of her mother, of her family. It was known, it was public. It is not a school teacher molesting a 9-year-old girl in the back of the classroom. It is not a swimming coach touching and groping a 9-year-old girl who swims in his gymnasium. It is not a man who rapes a 9-year-old girl coming home from school. Okay? So these people are so stupid. They're so stupid. And there's no politically correct way of saying they're stupid. And they're comparing two things that are totally different. A man married his daughter. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu was the closest friend to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What better way to solidify and make it totally eternal, their friendship and their allegiance, except through marriage? One of the most well-known ways of making and keeping allegiances was through marriage. Marriage prevented war. Marriage meant that a person would be there. They would protect the person just because he's married to my daughter. And what better person could that be than Abu Bakr's best friend, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the messenger of Allah? So it was no abuse. It was no exploitation. There was no type of violation of Aisha's rights as a young girl, whether she was 9 or whether she was 18. So the people, they're trying to compare things that are different. They cannot be compared. Someone raping a young girl, molesting a young girl. My stepdaughter, she's 9 years old and I molest her. My 12-year-old stepdaughter, I take a video of her taking a shower and I force her against her will. That's not the same as me marrying a young girl with consent, and it's known and it's public. Let alone some of the scholars of Islam say that there were people who approached Aisha before the Prophet ﷺ. It wasn't just the Prophet ﷺ. There were men who asked for Aisha's hand before the Prophet ﷺ. All right? So under any circumstance, does it fall under what the people try to make it, and they're just trying to look for things to attack and to bash Islam? And the scholars of Islam and the callers to Islam, my advice to them is not to run from this discussion, and not to hide and not to duck, but embrace it. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. And I challenge you to a duel. Let's have a fight. Bring every point of pedophilia and your modern Western definition, and I would debunk it. And none of those things fell under the Prophet ﷺ's marriage to Aisha. None of them. None of them. How Aisha turned out later on, none of the things are applicable. Okay? So don't mix oranges and apples, and don't ever be scared and afraid of defending the Prophet ﷺ's honor. Okay? The Prophet who we have to love more than our own selves. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Tayyib. Next question. K.A. from Queens, New York City. What is better to say? Sallallahu alayhi wasallam or alayhi salatu wasalam? Yani it's similar. Alayhi salatu wasalam. Salat and salam. Sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Similar, inshallah ta'ala. And Allah knows best. Burikt. Jazakallah khairun. Barakallah feek. Wa waffaqak li kulli khair. Ya Abdul Raqib. Tayyib, R.A. from Toronto, Canada. Can one combine both Dhuhr and Asr, pray at night, pray right after each other while on vacation in a hotel, even though there is no rush to pray Asr before its actual time? As long as you're traveling, then you can combine the Salah, inshallah ta'ala, as long as you're traveling. Tayyib, Queens, New York. Atif Chisti, what is the ruling on 401k? We've explained that before, Mufti Q&A. Much of 401k is haram. It's doubtful, much of it, and there are other parts of 401k which may be permissible. The whole concept of your money being invested in something which is unlawful or something which is unknown to you versus your money being invested in something which is lawful, and or your money being invested in something that you don't know, it's unknown, so it's not my responsibility. Everything is connected to something haram that we don't know about in a bank, etc. I buy something from a store and they send their money to Palestine to kill Muslims fighting for their land and for their territory. I don't know what they're spending it on. So it's always, the dunya is always connected. So some of 401k is haram, some of it is halal, and some of it is unknown. Fear Allah the best way you know how, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Nah. SN from Melbourne, Australia. Assalamu alaikum, Mufti. Is it considered as backbiting if someone makes fun of a person's name, but not in an insulting way, they also have never met that person before, stay away from it. It may be backbiting. Wa alaikum salam. How do you know that person is okay with that? ذِكْرُكَ أَخَاكَ بِمَا يَكْرَهُ. How do you know that he's all right with that? And it's a very common mistake that many people, they think, they make jokes about people and you don't necessarily have the relationship with that person. How do you know he's okay with it? How do you know I like you making a joke about my name? How do you like that? How do you know that I'm comfortable with you talking about my appearance? Oh, Mufti such and such. How do you know that? That may hurt my feelings. I may be sensitive. You don't know. So beware of poking your brother or barbing your brother with your tongue. Even if it's a joke, be careful. Tayyib, Mr. Ski 80, Oakland, Cali. I work at Cal in the dining communes and sometimes they serve stuff with pork. I'm the cashier, by the way. Allah musta'an. Try to get a better job, inshallah. Look for a better job, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Sensei, mashallah, next time in the UK, we'll test your driving skills, inshallah. Bi'idhnillah, ya akhi. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Alhamdulillah. Brothers in the UK, they're on the right side, huh? Ashabul Yameen. Inshallah. Inshallah. Please give my salams to Akhi Muhammad. Give my salams to my brother from Yemen, Muhammad. May Allah bless him and his family. Ameen. LJ from Medina. Can you use cream to make your skin lighter due to becoming darker? I would advise you not to do it. I can't necessarily say everything is haram. If it's going to harm your skin and it's going to leave long-term alteration and long-term damage, then it could be included in taghyiru khalqillah, distorting and changing and altering the Allah's creation. Maybe. But the concept of why does your skin have to be lighter? Because people want your skin to be lighter, because that's acceptable to be lighter. What's wrong with dark skin? What's wrong with brown skin or quote unquote black skin or wheat skin or olive skin? What's the problem? The Arabs, they had their standard of beauty. The paler a person, the lighter a person. Okay. The people from India and countries that sprang forth from India, such as Pakistan and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, they have their standard of beauty. The darker, the lower you are in the caste system. All right? Light skin is beauty. Fair skin is beautiful. Okay, tayyib. But that's not the entire world. Other parts of the world, they look at light skin and pale skin as a sign of sickness, that you're sick and you're dying, you're pale. Other parts of the world, the darker a person's skin, the healthier a person is. The longer the skin will last. All right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Allahu alam. What's important is that if you have dark skin, alhamdulillah for what Allah gave you. There are plenty of people who like dark skin and plenty of people who like light skin. That's a personal preference. But be confident in your skin. Be grateful for what Allah has given you. And don't think just because you have light skin that you're going to be accepted. Don't think just because you bleach your skin fair and lovely that you're going to be fair and lovely. They may still look at you lowly. All right? So be careful of the concept of the propaganda in the industry. Beautiful woman is a skinny woman. All right? A beautiful woman is a thicker woman. A beautiful woman is a light-skinned woman. A beautiful woman is a tall woman. A beautiful woman is this type of woman with this type of hair. Who makes those standards? Who considers what is and what isn't beautiful? It's in the eye of the beholder. All right? If you find someone that likes you for who you are, your appearance and your character, alhamdulillah. Be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah knows best the blessings that may lie in you having dark skin. And wallahi, this is none about black or white. It's not about black superiority, white inferiority. That's not the point. This is the question that's coming. But there are many benefits in having darker skin with regards to the sun, with regards to aging, and many, many other things, many other benefits and virtues of it, and vice versa. So the dunya is give and take. All right, be grateful for what Allah has given you and make the best out of it. That's my nasiha, inshallah. Brothers, before we keep going, please don't forget about tomorrow, 8:30, inshallah, not 9, 8:30 p.m. will be part 2 of Marital Discord in light of the Quran and the Sunnah. Make sure you visit HadithDiscipleshop.com to register and to purchase your tickets. Inshallah, it's going to be an exclusive lecture. It's not going to be a live stream public lecture. It's going to be intimate, exclusive lecture. Marital Discord part 2 at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you buy your tickets on HadithDiscipleshop.com. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala before it's too late. Lutfi Hillman. Assalamu alaikum. Be careful out there, Chief. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you, Akhi Lutfi. We miss you tremendously, Akhi. You got to come back to the dojo, inshallah. Tayyib, question Z in. Assalamu alaikum. From College Park, Maryland. It's a rumor that there is a vaccine for the coronavirus and that this whole situation was planned for many years. Is it permissible to invest in this? I wouldn't invest in it. I would advise you not to. Wallahu alam. HK Manchester, what's the ruling on marrying someone outside of wedlock? Marrying someone outside of wedlock? I don't understand the question 100%. Please explain, inshallah. Hassan. AR, New York, New York. هل يجوز المسح على الدرج عند الوضوء؟ قد يجوز وقد يجيز مثل هذا الفعل بعض الفقهاء من السلف، يعني ما لبس على الرأس وما شق نزعه عن الرأس سواء العمامة أم غير العمامة كالقلنسوة والطاقية إلى آخره. الكوارة مكورة على الرأس، العمامة لأنها تعم الرأس تعمه، فقد يسوغ هذا الشيء عند بعض أهل العلم، لكن الأحسن والأحوط الابتعاد عنه، الأحسن والأحوط نزعه، لكن قد يجوز ولا أحرمه أنا والله أعلم. HK Manchester, can someone born from wedlock still take their father's name according to the hadith of Jurayj? طيب. يعني, and I'm still waiting, Hassan, for you to clarify the last question. The concept of lineage and the Messenger of Allah making a major sin, man intasaba ila ghayri abihi, he who attributes himself to other than his father has made kufr, the hadith says. Nasun, yani bihim kufrun, many narrations, with them is kufr, meaning minor kufr. A person rejecting his lineage and attributing himself to other than his father. Does that authentic hadith in Bukhari Muslim, does that mean and does that necessitate that I have to keep my original Jahiliyyah name? So my name is Abu Abdullah Abdurrahman ibn Paul Johnson al-Amriki al-Salafi. Is that my name? And when I have the last name Johnson, am I attributing myself to my father? Was my father's name Johnson? Am I the son of John? Or am I attributing myself to my family's name? And who started my family? Where does my lineage come from? So that is the mas'ala, yani, that has to be looked into, the concept of an intisab. And that you have to keep the slave last name or non-slave last name or your Hindu last name or whatever last name you had before Islam. Well, what's meant by that? Is that your father's name? And how the people have names today, is a sunnah to have a last name? Did the companions in the Salaf, did they have last names? Or was it always Ibn, the son of? Or the country, Al-Basri, Al-Kufi, all right, Al-Madini, etc., Al-Madini, etc. So that's a discussion, and I'm not saying anything decisively now, but for sure many people have a misunderstanding, I think, and I feel humbly, of those ahadith about a last name. Did the Muslims have last names before they were conquered and colonized? And why do people from Algeria and Morocco have names that are so different than people in Arabia? There's a reason why. So that needs to be يحتاج إلى إعادة نظر. That needs to be looked into, inshallah ta'ala. All right? Wallahu alam. SN from Melbourne, Australia. If someone wipes over the socks during wudu and then later on another pair of socks over the same ones, can they still pray in this situation? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Wallahu alam. KA Queens, New York. What is the limit in talking to a girl via text that you intend to marry? Both of the parents know about the intention of the marriage and has approved. I don't know of any limit in the Quran and the Sunnah. What's important is talking to someone. You have to have an intention and an objective, a goal behind it. And inshallah ta'ala, once you've reached your goal, bismillah, make the marriage, inshallah ta'ala. Now, that's relative from person to person. It may take me a week to get to know a sister to marry. It may take me a year. Allahu alam. What's important is with the proper intention that you intend to marry. You're trying to investigate. You're trying to agree. You're trying to minimize the things you want to get married, inshallah ta'ala. And then after that, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, make sure that you be careful of the different fitna that can possibly come from that. Okay? Wallahu alam. Speaking of a hat, can I have my Scully back? I don't know who that is. If I took a Scully from you, sure. If you gave me a gift, then finders, keepers, losers, weepers, as a wise man he once said. Allah yaftah alayk. Barakallah fik, Akhi Zaid Williamson. Sensei, on a serious note though, the disciple of Nigeria are waiting. Real students, we need to work on that. Inshallah, Akhi. Right now, there's no traveling because of COVID-19. It's Corona time, as they say. So, as soon as the curve is flattened, bi'idhnillah, and we can travel again, we would love to visit our brothers in Nigeria. I had many classmates in Nigeria, in Medina. They were all beautiful brothers. All beautiful brothers. Allah yakramik. Wa anta kadhalik. طيب, from Turkey, assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless all of our brothers and sisters in Turkey. Ameen. طيب, thank you, Sheikh, for the reminder about Li Yastashfi. Allah yarda ank. Ameen. Wa anta kadhalik. May Allah preserve you too. I'm sorry I didn't understand that last message from Muhammad Zinuddin. Yasmin from New York City. Yasmin M. Jasmine M. Assalamu alaikum. Could the coronavirus be considered a sign of Yawm al-Qiyamah? Jazakallahu khairan. Allahu a'lam. There are many signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah, major and minor, that have been mentioned in Quran and Sunnah. Some scholars of Islam have been mentioning minor signs of Qiyamah for years, many years. Scholars dying, all right, wars, dhulm, oppressive leaders, all types of things, yani. Affairs becoming topsy-turvy, all right? إذا وسد الأمر إلى غير أهله, all right? إذا وسدت الأمور إلى غير أهلها, يعني. Allahu A'lam, Allahu A'lam. Nuruddin, I'm going to do a video on my journey to Nigeria. Maybe we can do that on the HD channel. Inshallah. Marhaba bikum, Akhi Nuruddin. Nawarakallah. Ameen. Amina B. We can benefit from showing gratitude to Allah about all our blessings you have. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Mac 018. Love you too, Akhi. Mufti Munir loves tea. This is a fact. Alhamdulillah. Tayyib. Right? Looking good, brother. Allahumma barak. May Allah bless you. I follow you. I know English language very little. I'm sorry if I spoke wrong. May Allah bless you, Akhi. May Allah protect you, keep you safe, keep you steadfast. Ameen. May Allah bless all of the disciples. Wallahi, we appreciate all of the love and the feedback. All of the love and the feedback. We appreciate all of it. Muhammad Zinuddin from Paris. I'm learning how to describe the world we are in. Most of it are in the book, involve all sorts of descriptions. How should I approach the people? I don't understand the question 100%. I'm learning how to describe the world we are in. I don't understand the question too much, Akhi Muhammad. I'm so sorry. Mazin from Saudi Arabia. Please mention where you're mentioning from, Akhi. Jazakallahu khairan. What city in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia? You look well rested. Thank you very much, Akhi. Assalamu alaikum. Oh, I like that fur coat. May Allah bless you. Caliph Basha. All right. IA, Philadelphia, PA. How does a student of knowledge make money? What an oxymoron. Student of knowledge is going to be broke and poor for many, many years out of his or her life. And that's a part of being a student of knowledge. Except, or in the situations in which you already have money that doesn't come from working, such as you come from royalty, or you come from an aristocratic background, or you worked before you were student of knowledge. I saved up money. But in most cases, people that are full-time devoted to their studies can't work but so much. They can't work but so much. They're studying, so they have to sacrifice. So don't necessarily run away from it. Embrace it. And brothers, when we talk about our struggles in Medina and all the times we suffered in Yemen, in this place and here, Allah knows best. If I could do it again, I would probably do it all again. Okay? So that's a part of you growing and developing. That's a part of you sacrificing. And to marry a woman that is so drop-dead gorgeous as knowledge, you got to pay. All right? Her mahar is not going to be a cheap, inexpensive mahar. Talking to her father, her tribe, everyone in the tribe has to approve and acknowledge you marrying this girl from our tribe. She's drop-dead gorgeous, beautiful. She's cultured. She is a complete young woman that you're married. We're giving her to you. You don't think you got to go through some struggle and some sacrifice? Knowledge is that beautiful, gorgeous woman. Knowledge is that woman that you can't stop looking at, can't stop staring at, can't stop talking to. That's ilm. That's the beauty of ilm, of the deen. And you gotta sacrifice for it. You have to give up something. So people, if you think that you're gonna stay home and get knowledge, you think you're gonna be relaxed and comfortable through this program and this online thing, and I'm not gonna suffer, I'm not gonna struggle, you're living in a dream world. You gotta give something for that marriage. Wallahu alam. As far as how to make money, then please go back to the video that we did some years back in Medina about how did the Salaf seek knowledge, and make a living at the same time. We explain many issues pertaining to that. And that's an old video on Hadith Disciple. Assalamu alaikum. Subhi Abu Shaban from San Diego, California. Is it routine? If your routine is memorize and review Quran every day, which is more important if crunched on time for a day? Memorizing or revising and reviewing at the moment. Don't pick. Don't differentiate. Don't discriminate. Just chop it up. I only got 30 minutes instead of 2 hours. So 10 minutes review, 10 minutes hifd, 10 minutes qira'ah. وهكذا. Allahu alam. Tayyib, Medina F from Maryland. Are obituaries permissible in Islam? The Prophet ﷺ, he gave us total guidance with regards to funerals and with regards to the dead and the rights of the dead upon us. As far as mentioning their virtues and what they did and how they were funny and this and that wasn't mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ, and it allows no doubt that can be included in an-na'i al-manhi anhu, na'i al-jahiliyyah. The Prophet ﷺ naha an al-na'i, he forbade mentioning the virtues of the dead. Wallahu alam. HK Manchester, Ali radhiyallahu anhu said sabr is like the head. Does this mean sabr is the strength of the mind? Also, where can we find the discussion of if the aql is in the heart? Jazakallahu khairan. Coming from Manchester, that statement that is attributed to Ali radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu, manzilatu sabri min al-imani ka manzilati al-ra'si min al-jasad, or kama qal. Does it mean that sabr is in the mind? I don't think that's what Ali radhiyallahu anhu meant 100%. I think Ali radiallahu anhu, if he said that, or whoever made that statement, that they meant that sabr is of vital and crucial importance to one's faith. Not just saying that it's in the head. That's what I think was the maqsood of that athar. What I've heard from the scholars of Islam explaining that athar. All right? Does it mean that patience is not in the mind? Of course it doesn't mean that. Of course you have to have mental patience. No doubt about that. To study, to lower your gaze, to concentrate, to focus. No question about that. But I don't think that's the maqsood of that effort. As far as where can you find the discussion, so on and so forth, to me personally, that discussion and that issue, among many others, I believe comes from the masail that are handed down from the Ahlul Kalam and the Mutakallimin. And it is sifted in and drifted in into the speech of some of the scholars of the Sunnah. And when we talk about Ahlul Kalam and those people, they were powerful. Oftentimes the government was behind them. They had money. They wrote books. They dominated scholarship in many lands for many years. So oftentimes some of the scholars of the Sunnah were affected by them. And if they weren't necessarily directly affected, they were touched, in which they had to debate them and fight them. Like Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn al-Qayyim. They had to fight them. They had to debate them. And oftentimes they had to fight them and debate them with their own words and their own terms. Even though some of those mustalahat, some of those terms were foreign to the Salaf. They didn't even talk about and discuss those issues. And that became a result of the ta'zim al-aql, making the aql so magnificent above and beyond the text. And like the Ash'a'ira and the other groups that came from Ahl Kalam, and they were spawned from Ahl Kalam, etc. Even when they do take the hadith and the Quran and the hadith, it's based off of the fahm of the aql. All right, even when they do quote the text, it's aql, aql, aql. All right, so that's a problem. So did the early Salaf speak about that and talk about that? Allahu alam. You'll find this discussion, inshallah ta'ala, in those scholars who dealt with these different issues between Ahl Kalam and the Salaf, Ahl Hadith. Inshallah ta'ala, you read the books of Shaykh Islam Taymiyyah and others, you'll find some of that discussion. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. That's going to be our last question today, guys. Brothers and sisters, I'm so sorry for not answering everyone's question. There are a lot of questions. Inshallah ta'ala, hopefully tomorrow we'll have another Q&A session. Salat al-Maghrib is going to be fast approaching upon us all. But what's important is, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, stay steadfast. Don't get scared and terrified over COVID-19. Do your best, and what Allah decrees for you is going to happen to you. Inshallah ta'ala, make sure that you tune in tomorrow, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for Hadith Disciple Marital Discord Part 2. This is going to be a private lecture, so you have to sign up, register, purchase your tickets on HadithDiscipleshop.com. Peace to all disciples worldwide.